The sickos are alive and well in fantasy football when you can fill up a draft scheduled for noon Eastern time on a Monday and get it filled within like 2 minutes. So drop a like, say hey if you guys are in the chat, if you guys are watching today. Got a bit of an early stream today because Avery and I are booked for this evening. We're going out with a couple of friends, so we figured that I would just go ahead and stream at noon. Anyways, I'd rather stream early than not stream at all. And I was like, let's see if we can get a draft filled, and it got filled up like that, no problem. So we are doing a real money draft today, $25 buy-in, $300 pot. We got a majority of that going to the winner, and then second place getting like $45 or something like that. So a ton of news, a ton of stuff that came in over the weekend from training camp. A lot of hype, a lot of anti-hype, a lot of schlop and stuff that we gotta, try and filter out. But there's just been this has been really nice. Just hearing a lot of football stuff, a lot of news, and more football than we've heard over the last like 2 months combined. And I think one of the biggest things, honestly, that happened is Ricky Pearsall was officially declared out for the season. And while that would honestly bring up DeJon Stribling's ranking quite a bit because he would just be a certified starter on the field every single play, they did bring in Deebo Samuel, and I actually think this benefits Deebo Samuel more than anybody else there in that offense because he was very, very productive last season. And in Washington, he was obviously productive in San Fran before that. He's not near as good as he was, 3 years ago. He is definitely on the decline, but he's probably going to be a solid flex option as long as he's healthy this season in that offense because there's nobody else there. And Pearsall now out of that offense for the rest of the season definitely gives him opportunity to be like the receiving option there alongside Mike Evans and then George Kittle, obviously. So there can be multiple productive assets there. I would still put my money and bank on CMC and Kittle being the guys there, with Evans kind of being your deep threat. They've never really had a Mike Evans type of guy, though, and he's not necessarily the guy that's going to soak up a bunch of target volume. So that could very well include Deebo Samuel this year. I got some happy birthday wishes. Thanks, man. Thanks, SG. We got Tricky Vic in here. Dylan's in here. Tiny Goose. Danny's always in here. Danny, you deserve so much credit. What's up, man? What's up? We are a week. We are just over a week away from meeting up in Austin to do all of our stuff. We are a week and a half away from the draft. We are like a week and 2 days away from figuring out the draft order. Well, not you guys, but us. We're doing the draft competition in like 9 days here, so it's going to be a blast. Intriguing early stream. I know. Drop a like if you guys like the early stream. We might do a couple more of these just depending on timing and however our days work out through August because we want to stream as much as possible. So who knows if it means streaming every day means getting a couple of earlier streams, then that's what we're gonna do. We'll see. But Satellite said just got Pearsall in Dynasty. That's crazy. Jonathan Brooks looking twitchy. Yeah, Jonathan Brooks is getting a lot of hype right now. I will say I'm not at this point in time, I am not the biggest Jonathan Brooks stan of all time. I'm not the biggest Chuba Hubbard stan of all time. I don't like either of them as picks. I probably like Brooks more as a pick than Chuba in the 6th round just because, again, he's cheaper. And if I were a betting man, I would say when it's all said and done, this is probably going to be closer to a 50-50 split than we would like to admit this season for both of those guys, which will probably cap both of their ceilings. And at that point, you probably just want the cheaper guy. I would wager that Chuba Hubbard is going to get a majority of the work to start the season just because he's experienced in that offense, and Jonathan Brooks has barely played an NFL snap in his career. But, we'll see. So I got to see Travis yesterday live, so that's awesome. Travis who? Travis Hunter? In Jags camp. That's pretty sick. Of course Danny is here. Danny's always here. Danny is waking bacon right now. Heck yeah. I'm actually so first off, we are at 39,932 subscribers. We are 68 subscribers away from getting to 40K. So if you are on the stream and you are watching it right now and you are not subscribed, would really appreciate it if you subscribe, but also you will be contributing directly to our 40,000 count, which we could very well reach today. I'm drafting at the 101 today. So this will be my 4th real draft. Many more to come, plenty more to come. But so far, I have drafted at the 102, the 108, and the 109, and now I'm back at the 101. So really, I've drafted, of the 4 drafts I've been in, I've really only been in like 2 sections of the draft. This range and this range. So 101, no secret who I'm going to be drafting here. It's going to be one of the top 2 running backs, but we're going to get that started here in literally 5 minutes. But if you guys want us to talk about anything and everything training camp, drop who you're curious about, who you're hyped for, because there has been a lot of Cyrus Allen talk. Cyrus Allen, man, he's one of those guys. This has been getting a ton of hype. Zachariah Branch, if you're talking like mega sleepers, guys that are going to be waiver level players heading into the season that you definitely want to watch, those are a couple guys that you might want to watch. Will it be a game time decision for Avery for Austin with the new baby? Yes, it will be a game time decision. He is going to do everything within his power to at least be there for the draft. But it's going to be dicey. It's going to be dicey, not going to lie. So we'll see what happens. If he's not there, he'll either have to like call in and do his picks, or somebody's going to have to pick for him, which would be so funny. It would be so fun. Very, very, very fun. It would be really funny if somebody like intentionally made terrible picks for his team and then he ends up going and like winning it. The GOAT Travis Hunter took off his glove and felt like I was looking at prime Michael Jackson. That's pretty sick. Johnny says, good luck. Appreciate it, man. The amount of Gibbs, Achane stacks to get in the first 3 picks is getting weird. What? You're getting a Gibbs, Achane? Achane's falling all the way back to you in the late 2nd round? What are you playing in like 8 teams or something? That's crazy. Watching it work, baby. Here we go. Yeah, I know. I'm hoping that we can get a lot of people that are on like lunch break right now watching. Obviously not the case on West Coast, but it's like more of an early morning stream for them. Thought y'all had more subs, most underrated fantasy football creators, best fits. Really, really appreciate that, man. You are the man. Really, really appreciate that support. And we're already up 10 subs from when I mentioned that we were 68 away. So now we're 78 away, or no, 58 away. I can't do math. I added 10 instead of taking away 10. So subscribe for maths. I don't know why people aren't higher on Purdy. He can easily have 21 points per game. You're on to something, man. We love Brock Purdy a lot. He's got to stay healthy, but man, when he's on the field, he's a must start every single week. Got Cyrus on the waiver for free, and then he got hurt immediately afterwards. Yeah, they said he was supposed to be fine though, so that's a good thing. With the downgrade of the Lions' offensive line, I feel like Bijan's the clear number 1 this year. Is that crazy? I don't think it's like super clear cut and dry. I am a Bijan guy personally. Whoa, I just gave away my 101 pick. You guys know where I'm going to be drafting now, or who I'm going to be drafting at the 101. I have Bijan ranked over Jahmyr Gibbs. I think that the way the offense is going to be structured in Atlanta is going to be literally feeding the living crap out of Bijan Robinson, and he was the second most productive running back in football last year. So I just personally prefer Bijan because his his receiving capability is just as good as Gibbs, and it's actually pretty underrated. He had like 100 plus targets last year. And that's, again, but both of these guys are going to be neck and neck. They're going to be neck and neck all season. So both of them are on a lockout right now too. They're waiting to get paid. How do we feel about Bucky Irving this year? Depends on his price. It absolutely depends on his price. If you're drafting him in the 4th, not as comfortable with it. If you have to do it, I get it. I'd rather take him in the 5th. Would you feel comfortable with Hampton, Herbert, and Ladder QJ 3 Chargers? Ooh. Yeah, that would be fine. You get a stack with one of the receivers, and the receivers are not taking away from the running back, and vice versa, because we're not in a Greg Roman offense anymore. So I'm fine with that. That's fine. Just have a random with an earpiece and acting as Avery for the vid and have nobody acknowledge it. Nice. I can't lie, mid-delivery room picks would be crazy good concept. Yeah, it would be crazy. If Avery is in the delivery room during the draft, he will not be drafting. I can guarantee you that. Always watch at work, easy podcast. Sweet. That's sick, man. You guys are the best. And it is time officially. You heard the little jingle. So I'm on the clock. Doing 90 seconds per pick here. It is time. Again, this is a $25 buy-in, $300 pot. This one's very straightforward to me. It's one of the top 2 running backs. I could, shake it up at some point and take a wide receiver if I wanted to, but, between Bijan, Puka, Gibbs, Puka I think is my wide receiver 1 this year in fantasy. I think that's how I have it going. But yeah, last time I was drafting at the 102, I ended up with Gibbs. At this point, just for diversifying, I'm taking Bijan. I have him ranked as my number 1 overall player. This is easy for me. So, and Jahmyr Gibbs goes right after me. No surprise. What are the Flock League meetup details? Anyone know? Is it open to us? Yes, it is open for anyone to come for the Flock League meetup. I think it's on the, I want to say the 16th. It's whatever that Sunday is. Like next, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. There are details on the Discord if you want to go check that out. If you have 2 running backs, would you do Kyron, Ladd, Pickens, Flowers, or Ted? Really, Kyron, Ladd, Pickens, Flowers, or Ted? I'd probably go Pickens, and then Kyron, and then Ladd, and then Flowers, and then Ted. Probably in that order. That's just me. That's just my opinion. 49 subscribers to go. Again, guys, subscribe if you want to see us get to 40K today. That's a pretty big milestone. First draft of the month of August this year, too. So that's nice. Wait, was it August 1st on Friday? I actually lied. It was August 1st on... No, because yesterday was 2nd, so the 1st was on Saturday. Okay, cool. So Avery's last draft was on July 31st. So this is our true first redraft league of August. So that's fun. Chase, Puka, CMC goes at the 105, JSN at the 106. Okay, so Avery and I were just talking about this with I think Tom and Kyle as well. I think what you're going to start seeing happen is the more people draft, the more people watch mock drafts, the more people get in real money drafts, the more they're drafting in this 103 to the 105 range, the more they are going to not feel like they have to select one of Chase, Puka, or JSN in that range because the wrap is so bad and it's so paramount that you lock down at least one running back in the top 2 rounds that, again, if there's not a solid enough running back available in the late second, which there rarely is if you don't want to take a shot on Jeremiah Love, people are going to start pushing these guys like CMC and Jonathan Taylor up boards. So be ready for that to happen. I don't think it's a lock that Chase, Puka, and JSN all have to go back to back from the 103 to the 105. I don't think CMC is a bad pick at the 105. Legitimately do not. By the way, if you guys want to get the season pass and use the algo, which I'm using for this draft today, I'm using for literally every draft I'm doing for the rest of the year, follow that link. It is also pinned in the comments. Use code domain. Do you prefer the 109 James Cook or CeeDee Lamb? Well, I can't tell you right now because the 109 hasn't picked yet. Brock Purdy or Caleb Williams? Probably Caleb Williams. I think his upside is higher because of his rushing ability. Fun fact, the rushing gap between Caleb Williams and Drake May last year was not near as great as you would think it is. They were pretty dang close in rushing production. JT goes at the 108, Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 107. So far the top 8 here has been, again, pretty standard. While I do think some running backs are going to bleed into where those wide receivers are usually going in the top 5, the top 8 is pretty solidified, I think, for now. How do I get in these leagues? Nihal, if you are a Season Pass member with code domain, these are all community members who have signed up for the Season Pass with code domain or their annual Motherflockers. If you follow that link that's pinned and you sign up, please send me a DM or just go into the Discord. You can sync your Discord roles, go into the Domain Leagues channel, and there's always openings there, and we'll make sure we get you in. Denpool said, question, in a Dynasty, I don't have a first this year. I have the option to keep either Bowers and Chase Brown or Chase Brown and Genty. What do you think? So this is more of a keeper. I would probably keep Chase Brown and Genty. I prefer the running back over the tight end. My 101 is Gibbs because I have Bijan last year. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're just switching it up this year. I have no issue with people that rank Jahmyr Gibbs as their running back one. They're in the same tier. You can take whoever you want. They're both going to be productive this year. Bijan over Gibbs, question mark, says Vikes. Yeah, I mean, again, they're both going to be productive this year. Devonta Smith or Igbuka at the 2-3 turn. I will say, like, anybody who thinks that Gibbs has already arrived to elite level production. With Montgomery leaving, why do we think that's going to change and be any better than it already is? He's averaging like 22 points per game. So I And do we think he's going to average 30 now that Monty's gone? Like, they're not going to give him 100% of the snaps. Like, he's still probably going to get 65, 70% of the snaps, and then they're going to give some to Pacheco. I can't talk. Does the algo work for 14-team leagues? Yes. So best thing about the algo is you can actually, you can edit your draft settings up here. You see up in this corner, edit draft settings. You can customize those and change them. And if whatever customized settings you're playing in are not reflected in the algorithm, where you can't like actually reflect those league settings, then please let us know and we will make sure that we have it for you. But we have literally so many different league setting variations in here. We're trying to accommodate everyone. I'm up in 11 picks. I still got a ways to go, but James Cook at the 109, Lamb, Jefferson, Achane here at the turn. We'll see who comes on the wrap, but we have entered this big tier that I think really starts at the 109, maybe the 110, and wraps probably all the way down to the 205 or the 206. How high do you have Tootin after all this camp hype? He's moving up. I know Avery's moving him up. I think he's moving up. I guess I don't know that for a fact. I've been moving him up slowly, but surely. I just gave him a significant jump probably like 4 or 5 days ago. What really sold me on it is Chris Rodriguez is like not going to be consistently active during camp, and that gives Tootin a massive leg up when it comes to work at the beginning of the season. So there's some good opportunity there for Tootin. Don't think it's any guarantee, but nobody's a guarantee going there in the 5th round. You kind of just have to shoot your shot at the running back position, especially if you're depleted, depending on how you drafted your first 4 rounds. So in a standard league, how do you value the top receivers? Are we taking guys like Jacobs over Pickens and in a standard is in like 0 points per reception? I mean, yeah. Yeah. Taking a lot of running backs over those receivers in a standard format, 100%. Almost the entire first round should be full of running backs and running backs alone. And then the second round should be majority running backs as well. I haven't seen a standard league go in a while. I think Gibbs has 26 points per game. Todd Gurley, LT upside, whereas Bijan might cap at 22 to 23 due to offensive concerns. I can see Gibbs scoring 20 plus. Dude, 26 points per game. Wow. That is a very, very high bar. I hope he can do it. I definitely hope he can. I mean, you're talking like best years of CMC level. So I think talent wise, both of them are capable of doing it, but holy moly. I would be thrilled with 23, 24 points per game for both of those guys. Would you prefer James Cook, Chase Brown, and Ladd, or CD, Chase Brown, and Scat? James Cook, Chase Brown, and Ladd, or CD, Chase Brown, and Scat? Probably Cook, Brown, and Ladd. I think I would rather have the elite running back than the elite receiver there. That kind of reflects what happened here too. Like James Cook goes ahead of CD Lamb. I think I would take Cook over Lamb. Okay, then this is where your running back run really starts, always at the turn here, which is why we don't really mind drafting back here from like the 110 to the 112, because on the wrap, you're getting so many good shots here at the running back position. Achane, Genty, Brown, Barkley, Hanson go back to back to back. Not taking Judkins at the 101 is crazy, Nathan. I know, dude. I really had to shoot my shot there, and I decided to take the shot on Bijan over Judkins. So a little bit ballsy, a little bit controversial, but, you know, got to take the shot. The algo has been great so far. It's a tricky pick. The only thing I've had to really watch the recommendations and always take into consideration scarcity at a position based on the players drafted. Okay, yeah, no, that's good to know. I think the way that we have it built is very much dependent on like your specific team build, and then the scarcity. Honestly, the scarcity is more dependent on just like where we have those players ranked, and honestly, it's kind of being baked into where we have those players ranked, like at the running back position, for example. Naturally, you're going to have a good amount of running backs recommended in the top 5 rounds, and not as many after the fact because there's a massive tier drop and we're elevating a bunch of guys into the top 5 rounds. So 8-team league, where would you want to pick the 101? Because you're talking about like a mid-round pick here where you're getting probably the last of what in the world? Why did my camera just go out of charge? Okay, I'm going to give my camera a second to chill out. I can still talk. You guys can still hear me, but what the heck? What the heck? Why did my camera just die? Ugh. Stand by for 2 seconds. It is going to be back. I swear. So stupid. You guys can get in leagues with the season pass. Links pinned. As long as you're on the Discord, we have plenty of leagues there, says Avery. So there you go. Say hi to Avery, by the way. I'm streaming from home. He's at his house. We're going to record after this. This is his day off of his stream. Do you consider the 109 in the same range as the 110 to the 112? As a guy that drafted at the 109... yeah, probably. I had a terrible draft at the 109 when I did it, but if I could go back, I would change the way that I drafted, and it would the outcome would be different. So, I think actually, like, yeah, I don't have an issue with drafting at the 109 compared to the 110, 112. It kind of comes down to who's available at the turn here between the 403, like the 310 and the 403, and you are getting guys in the same tier, the 309 and the 404. Hi, I'm back. We back. I need to zoom this back in. There we go. I'm up here in a couple of picks. Drake London, Walker, Henry, Bowers go here. Nothing super unexpected with this run. Nathan, refresh your algorithm. I've tried to tell you 5 times. Okay. I'm streaming right now. I have an old version. Okay, Command R. Hard refresh. Ka-chow. There you go. It's done. It's been refreshed. Where would you pick in a 10-team league? Again, the smaller these leagues get, the more important the high upside guys are. And I personally, in a 10 and an 8 team, all the more advantage for you to draft as high as you possibly can at the 101 or the 102, because you're going to get Bijan and Gibbs paired with a better player that is usually going in the mid-second in standard 12-team formats. Who's going to draft Ricky in the round 9 is the big question. Hopefully nobody. People actually have money in this league. That's why I didn't want to do a mock draft, because there's a lot of messed up ADP sources right now with all of the movement going on. And, you know, people just mess around in mocks. So. I just feel like you guys seeing real money drafts is actually a lot more valuable for your strategy as you start planning for whenever you have your drafts, if you haven't done any already. Drop a like, guys, if you haven't already. Subscribe. We are 24 subscribers away from 40K. So this is a special day. Looks like we're going to get there, but we need you guys to subscribe so that we can get there during the stream. That'll be a lot of fun. Are you doing a giveaway? Yeah, once we hit... well, this is a special day. Since we're getting to 40K, that's a special milestone. We'll do a season pass giveaway when we get to 40,000 subscribers. And then for the stream count, we're at 67 likes right now. Once we get to 300 likes, I'll do another giveaway. So like the stream, subscribe if you haven't already. We should be doing multiple giveaways tonight, is what I would guess. Okay. I'm up on the clock now. Pickens and Rice just went ahead of me. Love went ahead of me. This is interesting. I'm in an interesting range here. I'm in a very interesting range. I'm in a very, very interesting range. I could go the running back route here. Javonte Williams, the second best option here. Nico, the top recommended player. Nico's upside is phenomenal. Olave, I think his offense is underrated. AJ Brown, I think got a little bit of a dip because of the rough start in training camp. And he's actually been fine. So I think the only reason he's available here is because of the first day of training camp when he went 1 for 7. I have not taken a Nico. I have not taken AJ Brown. I have not taken a Javonte. I have taken an Olave. I'm going to go ahead and take the pair of wide receivers here. I'm going to take Nico, and I'm going to take Neighbors. Neighbors not on this list. I need to continue to move Neighbors up my boards, but Neighbors looks like he's been participating a lot more in training camp than we expected. So the algo isn't necessarily going to love my pick for taking Neighbors, but I still have a B grade. But yeah, Neighbors going to move up my board a little bit continually. I think I have him like somewhere in the mid-third, like early mid-third. And I'm just, the more news we get from Giants camp about his health and his status, the more I'm probably going to move him up, because he will eventually be, in my opinion, probably a solidified second round selection. I like A.J. Brown, but my concern with A.J. Brown is that I don't know what his target volume is going to look like. Is it going to be super, super high in an offense that doesn't necessarily throw the ball a ton? You know, you could say the same thing about Malik Neighbors, honestly, but Neighbors is just a better straight-up wide receiver than A.J. Brown is. And both of them technically have health concerns. So if A.J. Brown falls to me at the 2-3 turn, I'm slamming that button. Yeah, that's kind of what I was wrestling with. I think when I looked at the board there, I was pretty sold on taking 2 wide receivers instead of taking Javonte there. I like Javonte, but I really like the wide receivers. I was hoping Pickens would fall. He usually falls. He didn't make it. But at this point, I'm kind of trying to draft for upside, and I do think the upside pick is probably Neighbors. Nico is just more consistently productive when he's on the field. And I know it's a big caveat when he's on the field. I mean, look, A.J. Brown still fell all the way down to the 3-4 here. So we are talking about one big tier here. That is the one that's the one bummer thing about drafting at the 101 or the 102 is you don't usually get a faller from this tier. There's usually a teardrop at the mid-second, and then you end up with this bank of wide receivers, or you have to kind of feel forced to take one of these running backs that usually goes in the third. So some of these guys like Javonte are going to be pushed up into the early third if the 101 or 102 doesn't want to leave the first 3 rounds without 2 running backs. Who the frick is this Cyrus Allen guy? That's what everybody wants to know. That's what we all want to know. He's a 5th round selection. So it's been very interesting to see him get all of the hype and all the work that he's been getting in training camp. Xavier Worthy's already hurt too, a shoulder injury. Nico doesn't worry you. His usage toward the end of the season playoffs was low. He was coming off the field more often than not. Oh yeah, Nico absolutely worries me. I don't feel like $1 million taking Nico Collins there. But again, I do believe in diversifying, and this is my 4th draft of the year, and I'm probably going to be drafting like 10 to 15 more times. So at the end of the day, my goal is to have at least 1 share of every player going in the top 2 rounds. And this time, I think it made sense to pair Nico Collins with the safety of Bijan and then take the upside shot with Neighbors as well. This is going to be probably one of my riskier profiles that I'm going to have. Got a lot of question marks at wide receiver with a lot of production upside. Any combo of those 3 wide receivers are amazing bets with the Bijan or Gibbs start. Yeah, that's kind of why I went with it. If I'm, going to have the upside of Bijan, I want to pair it with some dynamite upside with those wide receivers. And if it pays off with all those guys, then I'm probably going to win the league. It does not always work out, but you don't have to look back any further than like last year where Sal did it with CMC and JT, both who were viewed as incredibly risky selections in the top 2 rounds, and that paid off. Of course, I was running back, not wide receiver. Nico is pretty consistent when he's on the field. He just has to be on the field. So that's my Mr. Consistently Missing a Game. Yeah, a lot of people are very, very split on Nico. And I will say when it comes to my opinion of Nico, I am split on my opinion of Nico. I look at his production when he's on the field, and I'm like, how can you pass that up? And then I'm like, he misses time all the time. Can I afford that? Should I just let him go and let somebody else take him? I can't believe you're one of the only guys saying that they hate the 103 to the 105 because the 2-3 turn is buns. I completely agree if Derrick Henry or Bowers doesn't fall. I hate my team. I actually don't hate the 103 to the 105. I hate it less than a lot of people do because I am that much in love with the Jamar Chase, Puka, or JSN start. I think that the risk of ending up totally screwed with like no running backs in that range is so high that it terrifies me to draft in that range. But if you can pull it off, then you actually aren't looking too bad. So I don't hate the 103 to the 105. Tony's a Nico guy. Had him on his team since his rookie season. This year, going to move on. Nico almost 2 to 4 games on his season just prays healthy come playoff time. That's right. You can pretty much bake into his price that he's going to miss time. If you told me and you told everybody in fantasy that Nico Collins was going to be healthy for the entirety of the season, the dude would be going at the 1-2 turn. So it's kind of the injury is kind of being baked into his price. Danny said he just moved 25 patio stones to the back. Latzer needs a break, then the TikTok will be recorded. Okay. Now, Avery does not like the 103 to the 105. Avery's a little more like strongly opinionated about it than I am. I know I was in a draft last week where I saw 2 of those 3 teams at the 103 to the 105 pull it off, where they had some banger upside on their team, but they also had a lot of risk. I will say this about the 103 to the 105. If you do pull it off by drafting one of those top 3 wide receivers in that range, it doesn't matter if you do pull it off or don't. You are just automatically going to have one of the riskiest, probably lowest floor teams in the league. But if it works and all of your guys hit, then you're going to be a force to be reckoned with. So I don't think many people in the Flock League are going to really want the 103 to the 105 range, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So AJ Brown goes all the way down to the 304. Avery, what do you think about me taking Neighbors over AJ Brown? I assume you agree with that. Javonte Jacobs, Kyron, Scattaboo, Brees, all of your third-round running backs going here. Scattaboo, in most of our drafts, has been going in the third. Sometimes he goes in the fourth. Devonta Smith at the 308. I'm starting to get a really good grasp on like what my tiers are and what I should be looking for in pretty much every draft, depending on where I am picking. Recording a skyrocketing video this morning. I had fun glazing Jonathan Brooks and company. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we've talked about we've probably talked about Jonathan Brooks once or twice in a video before, but I'm sure we're due up for a conversation again with all the training camp stuff. Love him to steal the draft already and don't even have to know where exactly he goes off the board. You did freaking name dropping, Danny. Come on. The 101, 102 is a struggle at the 4 or 5 turn. Yes, it is. And again, if I get guys at the 4 or 5 turn that I like, I'm very, very happy in that range. It's not a guarantee. And that ultimately is kind of my deciding factor on like still trying to figure out which range I like more. Do I like the 101, 102 range more, or do I like the 110 to the 112 range more? Yeah, I was mixed on the two. Hey guys, we broke 40,000. Huge milestone. Thank you guys a ton. 40K subs. 40,000 subs. You guys are the best. That's pretty sick stuff. That is pretty sick stuff. We're going to do a season pass giveaway for that to celebrate. We are at 127 likes. We're almost halfway to 300 likes. Once we get to 300 likes, we're going to do another season pass giveaway for you guys. So drop a like on the stream if you haven't already. Really, really appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. And I will say, you guys have shown up for the midday stream, for the noon stream, the 12 Eastern stream on your lunch breaks. We got like 600 people watching right now. So you guys are the best. There are a lot of early birds around. There are a lot of early birds that are just thirsty for fantasy content in the middle of the day on a Monday. Thanks, Rome. Yeah, you guys are the best. Danny out here gifted memberships. Danny, you're so nice. Or no, Danny got a gifted membership. Who's gifting the memberships? Domain is. Avery's doing it for me. Oh, happy birthday. Thanks. It's not my birthday, but I appreciate it. Yeah, Lapster got it gifted. Yeah, we got a ton of people on right now. Good morning, Levi. What's up? Blessing us with an early appearance on your birthday is truly admirable. Thanks, man. Avery and I are going to watch The Odyssey in 70mm tonight. So that's going to be really fun. How do we answer the giveaway? I'm going to tell you in just a second. I'm going to get Nightbot set up, and then we're going to do a giveaway. There will be a keyword that you'll put in the comments. First stream I don't have to stay up all night for. Yeah, that is nice for you, dude. All right, we're getting Nightbot set up. Nightbot giveaways. Keyword. Next. All right, keyword is 40K69. Drop 40K. That's 40K69 in the chat. And you will be entered into the season pass giveaway. Interesting turn here. We got Lab McConkey, Zay Flowers, Josh Allen. This is a 4-point, by the way. Travis Etienne, David Montgomery. So Etienne going where he usually goes. David Montgomery going a lot earlier than what I'm used to seeing. Papa Dunk really wanting to lock down his running back strategy here. He goes Lamb in the first round, locks down his elite wide receiver, and then he just hammers running back the rest of the way. Hammers it. 40K69, baby. Let's go. What do you guys think about Tet McMillan? What do you think Tet McMillan's going to do this year? 122 targets last season, 70 receptions, over 1,000 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns. The wide receiver, 16 in total points, and points per game, he was quite a bit lower than that. Again, he was just healthy the entire season, which is great. That's not a dock against him. It's just when you look at his actual game log, it wasn't like he was super reliable all season. But man, he had some great weeks. His floor was really low. Do you think that Tet McMillan increases his target volume this season, raises his floor, and solidifies himself as an elite wide receiver 1 option that you're getting at 4th round prices, or do you think it takes him another year to break out? Wanted to take Josh Allen since I don't have him in any leagues this year. I want an excuse to wear my jersey. There you go, man. It is fun to watch Josh Allen. That is for sure. All this hate about the 104 has me paranoid about running back. Where are you drafting at the 104 here? Puka, Love, AJ Brown. I think that's a fine start. Again, it depends on who you end up with here. So Lord Snow drafts at the 107, takes Amon-Ra, Drake London, and he gets out okay. He ends up with Kyron and Bucky in the 3rd and 4th round. If you're going to fade running back in the first 2 rounds, this is what you have to do. And it actually ended up working okay for you because Kyron made it to you at the 307, which does not happen every single day. Vikes likes T, Waddle, and Zay more. That whole tier of wide receivers are almost all good picks. Yeah, I agree. I think taking the shot on Tet in the 4th round is totally reasonable. You're getting him at the same price point that you got him last year as a rookie when he was unproven and hadn't shown anything at all. And now this year, you're like, man, we're already at a 120 target floor. Can we get higher? Rising star and a must draft, Butler says. Almost a 30% target share last year, top 12 finish this year. Do you think his target share can go up from 30%? That's another question that I have too. If he's already at 30% target share, can Bryce Young increase his volume enough that Tet McMillan can be more productive? Like, is that possible? Do you think he can get up to 35% target share, or will he just stay at 30% and Bryce is going to have to throw it more? They're not going to have a Rico Dowdle this year unless Jonathan Brooks is Rico Dowdle, which is possible, I guess. Again, 40K69 in the chat if you want to get into the drawing for the season pass. We've got about 7 minutes left until I draw the winner. Just joined. Is this a PPR? Said Buffness. Yes, this is a PPR format. Here goes Lamar in the mid 4th. Egbuka at the 408. Higgins. I love this range, dude. I love this range. Unfortunately, I usually see the drop off here at the 4-5 turn, but man, this range of like the mid 3rd all the way to the mid 4th is just there's not a bad pick. There's not a bad pick in this range. All of them have a good enough floor to be a solid selection in the third and fourth, and all of them have so much opportunity to produce at a higher level than where they're currently being drafted. The more I think about Ladd in a Mike McDaniel offense, the more I am obsessed with taking him in this range. And I have not historically been a Ladd stan. T-Max a must draft for Butler. Heck yeah, get your 40K 69s in here. Jalen Waddle at the 409. I'm growing on Jalen Waddle. Go to Swift. I think our run game will take a slight step back with us missing Moton and Kwonu. Our defense vastly improved. Bryce will be forced to throw more this season, in my opinion. That is actually really good to know. That is a little bit encouraging. So you think the downgrade defensively is going to result in more production for every team that's playing against you. Therefore, you're going to have to sling it more to keep up. I don't know much about Carolina's defense, admittedly. I haven't studied their defensive movement. Obviously, they've had a couple of injuries recently, so that's a big part of it. But yeah, I think that's a fair argument. Ladd's a slot wide receiver, and the Chargers are going to run lots of 13 personnel, and he's not an X. That's QJ. Yeah, but I mean, look at what Tyreek and Waddle did in Mike McDaniel's scheme with Mostert and HM both being productive at the same time. Devontae Adams goes right before me at the 411. All right, let's see who's available here. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. I don't think I've ever seen Garrett Wilson fall this far. Holy crap. It's just a spoiler here. I'm taking Judkins. I cannot leave this range without taking a running back. Legitimately can't. So that leaves me with I'm pretty much stuck here between Wilson and Loveland. Man, this is tough. There are a ton of really good picks here. I am probably going to have very few shares of Loveland when it's all said and done, so I think I'm going to go ahead and take my one Loveland in this draft because I almost never see him make it here. I almost never see him fall this far. All right, Loveland's my first pick. I just want to make sure I'm crazy. Like, do I... I don't want to lock myself into taking value when I have Nico and Malik Neighbors. That's so much risk in questionable offenses. I legitimately know I have risk with Judkins in a bad offense too. Kind of a lose-lose at the same time that it's a win-win because I have so many picks here. I'm taking Judkins. I can't leave the top 5 rounds without 2 running backs. It's just my opinion. I like Judkins too. He's going to get a lot of work. Danny's in love with my draft automatically because I got Loveland. Probably locked in as number 1 by my rankings with that Colson value. I'm going to plug this into my teams after the draft and see because I'm sure I'm going to be ranked super high in your power rankings. Butler because he usually falls further than this. So does Judkins too, honestly. QJ in the 5th, where I've seen this before. I know. This is not a Nathan draft without taking Quinshon Judkins in the 5th, right? A minute and a half. Get your 40K 69s and 40K 69. No caps, no spaces. 40K 69. And we'll do a season pass giveaway. Lattimore is a slot. Last year I made the same mistake with JSN thinking he's just a slot player. Yeah, again, though, like for a player that's of that talent level and as good of a route runner, like what's the issue with Lad being, quote, just a slot? Like, as long as he gets target volume, I don't really care where he lines up. That's my opinion. So Price goes right after. Wilson goes to the 503, and then that's your teardrop. Right after that, I think, in my opinion, is your teardrop. Tootin you could include in that tier. Actually, that's not true. Tootin and Terry all belong in that tier. I think the teardrop is after that, maybe Henderson. But you could debate Henderson's in that tier too. I think you're in a big range here. I think Loveland was the clear value follower there at the 412. I just had to take him. And then I just took one of my favorite running backs in that range. I think I trust Judkins' floor the most. I definitely question his ceiling. Price has the lowest floor by far. Wilson I could have taken. I don't think I could stomach having Wilson with Nico and Neighbors. I kind of made that mistake last year in the Flock League where I liked all the names that I got. And then they just all really disappointed. And it's like, ultimately what I did is I just invested in a lot of really, really crappy offenses. And Nico's in a questionable offense. Neighbors is in a questionable offense. If I had Garrett Wilson in a questionable offense at the wide receiver position, I was banking on all three of those wide receivers producing when I was intentionally hurting myself at running back. Like, I don't know if I can handle that. Judkins is in a bad offense too, but at least I have a second running back that's going to get a lot of work. I think the move was to go Judkins, Price, you have Price in the flex and draft Kittle later. Yeah, that's fair. I could have let Loveland fall. I was just more like, I don't know when I'm ever gonna do that again. Part of the diversification argument there. Danny's a Tootin guy. But I like that Judkins pick if you're off Tootin for sure. I'm not even like off Bachel Tootin. I've been moving him up my boards recently. I just think that his floor is being raised because his work is going to be increased at the beginning of the season with Rodriguez probably starting slow. But I mean, Judkins isn't competing with anybody, period. Tootin, you do have that question mark still of it being like not exclusively his backfield. And it could end up exclusively being his backfield depending on how he performs. But I know nobody else is taking it away from Judkins. Price versus Judkins is an interesting debate. Much better offense in Seattle. I don't believe Charbonnet is going to be ready week 1 or that he gets his job back. I don't think he'll be ready either. I think Price is going to be the guy. But again, you just have that question of like, if I'm debating between Price and Judkins, who's already shown that he can take it on last year, I'm probably going to take the shot on Judkins. Price is just a better back with a better O-line. Okay, cool. So, yeah, I mean, he very well could be. I think Judkins' upside could be higher than, or I think Price's upside could be higher than Judkins. Nathan, have you heard of the sleeper rookie Eli Heidenreich 50% share rate in college? Oh, brother. Avery and I have been the Eli Heidenreich stands throughout the entire offseason with Dynasty content. If Heidenreich starts getting work this year and he works his way up the depth chart, we're going to be going nuts. You don't know how bad we want to see that. All right, guys, we are going to reveal the winner for the giveaway with the 40K 69. And the winner is, for the first season pass giveaway, D-Bomb 311. D-Bomb 311. Say hey in the chat, man. You won the season pass giveaway. Just follow that link to flockfantasy.com if you have an account already. Just let us know in Discord what your Flock username is, and we will get you that free season pass. If you have not signed up with a free account, make sure you do that with code domain. Put code domain in there, and then we will get you the free season pass. But I will send you a link to the Discord so that we can get you connected there. Link to Discord. Copy. Ka-chow. D-Bomb, follow that link to the Discord, and we will get you helped out to get that free season pass. You're the first winner for tonight, my friend. Congrats. We're at 204 likes, 96 more likes. Drop a like on the stream if you haven't already. At 300 likes, we will give away another season pass. Big run of wide receivers here. Huge run of wide receivers. So after Warren goes at the 5.7, a half round gap between Levlin and Warren I think is really solid in this range. I feel way better about taking Levlin a half round higher than Warren than taking him like a full round to a round and a half higher. So our run of wide receivers here, but this is what I want to hear from you guys, okay? So while Skylord's making his pick here at the 601, of the five receivers that have gone here in the late 5th round, who's your favorite between Burden, Jamo, Evans, Marv, and Tate? Go. Tell me your favorite. Marv at the 5'11 is earlier than I remember. ZD likes Evans. ETP said, how can I join one of these? ETP, we've got the season pass sign up link pinned here in the comments. I'm also going to drop it in the chat for you. If you follow that link right there, sign up for the season pass using code domain. Once you become a member, everybody drafting in these live leagues are all community members with code domain. So if you join the season pass, we will make sure we get you in one of these leagues. Danny has Burden at 37 overall. So you've got him early 4th. So you think he's a screaming value here. Okay, so you're big on the Luther Burden breakout this year. I don't think I've ever seen a coach, like legitimately, I don't think I've seen a coach talk up a player as much as Ben Johnson has been talking up Luther Burden the entire offseason. So part of me thinks about it. I'm like, am I just being an idiot for not ignoring it, but am I just being an idiot for like not ranking him super high? Maybe. I've been burnt by coach speak too many times, but I've never heard somebody be so explicitly clear on how good he thinks Luther Burden is going to be and how much usage he thinks he's going to get than Ben Johnson is about Luther Burden. It's like kind of crazy. Did y'all see Evans running his route? Looks slow as crap. And Mike Evans always looks slow. I'm not going to lie. He's I don't think he's gotten faster in his old age. He just bullies everybody and out-physicals everybody because he's a giant. I wouldn't take too much stock into him looking slow. He's been an old fart and is an old fart. So the wide receiver run continues. We got 8 straight wide receivers going here. BTJ, Romo Dunze, Christian Watson. Ben Johnson's an honest guy. I trust him. That is true. Nobody saying Marv is pretty insane to me. He easily has as much upside as Burden does, and Evans needs to stay healthy. Avery, one crazy thing that I saw too. So as much anti-hype posts as there has been with Marvin Harrison Jr., the like actual, if you wanted to hear an actual opinion from Arizona's circle on like how Marv has actually been doing, I just checked him out on 32 beat writers. This is from a beat writer in Arizona. He said Harrison continued to stack strong practices after bouncing back from an earlier rough day, singular in camp. He consistently created separation, made several highlight reel catches, including an acrobatic sideline grab over rookie corner Will Johnson that drew plenty of praise. He also won on a back shoulder throw, repeatedly found himself open throughout practice. Harrison briefly worked with trainers after getting tangled up on a deep ball, quickly returned, showing no signs of a lingering issue. The coaching staff believes he looks much more comfortable in the new offense, and his confidence has been evident with each passing practice. Have heard none of that, have seen none of those highlights whatsoever. People are cherry picking with Marvin Harrison Jr.'s highlights and lowlights from training camp. Like it's become a smear campaign. I think the negative press with Marv could end up resulting in him being one of the best values in fantasy because you're talking about him being a flex option at this point. See, Marv's been good. Marv's got the yips. Wilson over Marv all day. Like, we're very split here. I like Burden, but saying the argument for Burden is that he's more proven is clinically insane. Yeah, they're pretty much equivalent. People are cherry picking Marv for sure. That's kind of where I'm at. It does seem like a smear campaign, and it's to our benefit. Like if it's to our benefit for the Marv truthers, honestly, because it just means that we're going to get them at a cheaper price. But to say that Marv having a couple of drops in training camp is a total death sentence for him is a little bit crazy. Especially when that's like not the whole picture. I think this is where training camp could burn us. I think this is where like a training camp headline could totally burn people. If they're all out 100% on Marv at dang near 6-round prices, and he often goes at 6-round prices. I don't mind it at all. I have Marv in the 60s, so definitely in on his cost. Just hard to break down the offense. Yeah. The offense is the biggest question by far. Marv is far from question proof. That's for sure. Marv looks great. His limitations this year are the team he plays for. Yep. Wilson is the second coming of Jerry Rice. Jeez Louise, dude. Whoo. People talk about the drops, but not about the snaps as the 13 personnel lone receiver. That is huge. That is a huge deal. If he's the one that's on the field more often than not, then he's going to be the one that's getting the most usage. People like to talk about Michael Wilson, but they don't like to talk about the splits when Michael Wilson and Marv are on the field together. And Michael Wilson doesn't do anything when Marv is on the field. And this is where it gets really disgusting. So after we get through this 5th round, you start being like, in the late 5th, and then you get into the 6th, and you're like, holy crap, this is horrible. That's the nice thing about the tail end here. If you're drafting at the 110 to the 112, is you beat that big tier drop. And that's probably why I would that's why I would separate the 109 into a different like subcategory from the 110 and the 112, even though you're kind of drafting ish on the tail end and you're getting guys in the same tier up here. You're not getting somebody in the same tier in the 6th round. You do miss out on that tier drop. No, there will not be. Somebody would have to go until they're 38 years old. Honestly, the guy of this era that's like closest to that, depending on how he performs over this year and like next year, would be Devontae Adams, and he doesn't have near the yardage. But like from a durability standpoint and just like how well he's aged, it's Devontae Adams because he's 34. But he would have to go until he's like 36 to even be in that touchdown conversation. But yardage, he's not there. Ben Johnson talking up Burden like crazy. Marv's coach is not saying jack. Yeah. What are they saying? The only thing that they're saying in Arizona is that they're not going to give Jeremiah Love the ball, which is the most psychotic thing I've ever heard in my life. That Wilson run when Marv was out last year, though, was crazy. Stashing him on my bench this year just in case. Yeah, I think it depends on Wilson's price, too. I'm taking Marv Sr. over Marv Jr. this upcoming season. Wow, okay, cool. Nice. Adams also had such a late breakout, just hard to make that volume up. Yeah, it is. People are not factoring in Stafford's injury history. That is the only thing keeping the Rams out of the Super Bowl this year. I don't think I've seen a starting roster as stacked as the Rams probably since, like legitimately, probably since some of those early Chiefs rosters. And like even dating back to some of the Colts rosters. Yeah, the only thing keeping them out of the Super Bowl conversation this year, the actual Super Bowl game, is Stafford getting hurt. So that's it. If Stafford's healthy, they're going all the way. It's almost time for my pick. I'm in a discussing range. This is my biggest concern with the 101 and the 102. But is it worth having Bijan and Gibbs on your team and sacrificing being on the wrong end of that teardrop at the 5-6 turn? It's the question I go back and forth with every day. I'm having dreams about drafts right now. I had a dream that I got CMC in the 5th round in the Flock League. Obviously, incredibly unrealistic, but that's how much I am wired right now. I'm dreaming about fantasy every night right now. All right. What do I do here? Okay. Yep, I pretty much agree with the algorithm here. I like all of their recommended selections. There is 0 running back option that I like in this range. See, this is what I would have been faced with if I hadn't taken a running back there at the 4 or 5 turn. If you're drafting at the 101, 102, you can get away with not drafting a running back from rounds 2 through 4. But if you do not take one at the 4 or 5 turn, you're done for. So we will go ahead and take our upside shot on Lemon, who's been getting some training camp hype recently, and then we'll take Alec Pierce. Both very high upside players. I'm going upside galore here. Very low floor, very high risk. This isn't one of my favorite drafts, but I'm okay with it. This is my second share of Lemon. I like Lemon at the 6-7 turn. I think he can end up getting some good usage in an offense that's expected to throw the ball quite a bit this season. Danny's excited for the draft. Yeah, dude. Every time we get close to it every year, man, I'm like, I start getting the... I get really excited. $231 likes, guys. We are 69 likes away. Nice. 69 likes. Drop a like on the stream if you haven't already. Once we get to 300 likes, we will do another season pass giveaway. At the beginning of the stream, we had 39,939 subscribers, I think. So already at 40K and 62 over. So you guys are killing it. Subscribe if you're watching and haven't already. Really appreciate it. Broke 40K on the stream today. That's a huge milestone. Next up, 50K. Hoping we get there soon. I can't lie. This is as close to a Ladster team as I'll ever see from Nathan. I'm really appreciating this. Yeah, it's a balls to the wall draft is what it is. It is absolutely a balls to the wall draft. All right. Jalen Warren at the 702. Like, can you imagine? Again, if I had not taken a running back at the 4 or 5 turn, I could have taken 2 running backs at the 4 or 5 turn. I really could have if I wanted to pass up on Loveland. But again, not going to take Loveland very often this year, and I want to have one share of him. So I legitimately probably would have been forced to take like a Jalen Warren in the 7th, and that makes me want to puke. People are forgetting that QJ thrives in Yak. Give me QJ in the later rounds over Lad, more upside. QJ could very well produce this season in a McDaniel offense. I wouldn't put it past him. He was productive last year in a Roman offense. Nathan not having Jettas on the team doesn't seem right. At least I have Judkins on my team, right? Isaiah Likely is being talked as a clear wide receiver 2 on the Giants. I did hear that as well. I have 53% Debo on Underdog. I think I cooked. Yeah, depending on what price you got him, you probably did. I took 2 Debos before he was announced to go to San Fran because I was pretty convinced he was going to either go back to Washington, go to the Colts, or even go to San Fran. He ended up going to one of those landing spots, and now his price has moved up like 3 rounds. So I got him while the getting was good. I got him in like the 13th round in 2 drafts that I was in. Last year was my first year of fantasy, and now I'm addicted. Dude, once you're in, you can't get out. Welcome to a amazing community of degenerates. It's the best community ever. 48 likes to go, guys. going to be insanely hyped to have 42,069 subs soon. We already got over it, man. Oh, wait, 42,069 subs. Okay, yeah. 42069 is a milestone. Absolutely. Hopefully we get there soon. Legit, my highest owned stack outside of maybe T-Law and BTJ. Wait, what stack? What's the right price on Debo? Fantasy football site has him at wide receiver 55. I think people are still figuring out where they want to rank him. I will show you where I rank him after we see him go in this draft. I don't really want to give people hints on where he should be going, but I did change my ranking of him, and I have him in a range that I'm pretty comfortable having him in. Hard Knocks starts tomorrow, and I'm hyped. Football is officially back, and Thursday we have a game. I know, dude. And then we're going to watch that Hall of Fame game and want the regular season even more, because every time we watch preseason, we're so hungry for any sort of football on the screen that once we watch it, it tickles the itch. What the heck? It scratches the itch for like 2 seconds, and then you realize how bad the football is, and you're like, I can't watch any of this. I can't do it. It's so bad. I would rather watch training camp drills than I would watch the Hall of Fame game, but I'm going to watch the Hall of Fame game anyways. We'll have it on during our stream. If Diggs goes to Washington, that will feed families. I mentioned that in a video recently where I said, according to reports, Diggs has been in talks with Washington. So if he goes there, that's a really nice fit with Terry McLaurin. Both of those guys could be productive. Caleb Loveland, I got you. Seahawks Hard Knocks is going to be boring as heck. The team is all good vibes. Yeah, they're coming off a Super Bowl win. We'll see how well they look this season. It does what to the itch? Yeah, it tickles the itch. Yeah, that was bad. Nathan, what are you doing with the money when you win the Flock League? I will probably, I'm dead serious, I'll probably buy some land. My wife and I want to build, so we're in the property market right now. Do I need one of you or Avery to have JT and me, Sammy Lamb? Can you imagine the live sweat at the stadium for content? Dude, I was thinking about that. I was like, there's going to be a lot of fantasy implications in that game because there's so many fantasy relevant players on both of those teams. The odds that you or me and or Avery are going to have players in that game that directly impact our matchups. If we end up playing each other, actually, oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. Danny, can you clip this or just put it in the private chat now? Go put it in the private chat and tell them that we need to schedule a matchup between you and me or you and Avery or whatever. We need to have some sort of matchup for that week when we're together for the Dallas and Colts game. Because the odds that some of us are going to have players in that matchup is very, very high. And even if we don't, it'll just be awesome with us being together, playing against each other that week. We need to make sure that happens. Image says, I hope Diggs goes to Indy. Yeah, he doesn't strike me as the type of guy that Ballard would want to sign, but I've been wrong before. I think he would fit well. They've talked about signing a veteran, and then they went ahead and they brought in Chase Claypool, so I don't think that counts, and if that's what they meant, then they're the biggest cons of all time, which would be pretty on brand. It's going to be a blast, dude. I can't wait. We absolutely need it. We're at 266 likes right now, so 34 more likes, and then we'll do another season pass giveaway, guys. Thanks, Danny. You're the man. Appreciate it. How good can Pierce be once he's fully healthy? Pierce should be back no later than a week from now. Ballard said about a week ago that he was a week or two away from being a full go. So when he's back healthy, I think he'll be as productive on a per reception basis as he was last season. How much is his volume going to increase? I don't know. I've never seen a guy as productive as he is with as little volume as he gets. So I think his ceiling on a total season basis depends entirely on how much his volume can go up. And he's not necessarily going to be the primary beneficiary of getting increased volume with Pittman being gone. It's going to be Tyler Warren because he plays that role. He's going to absorb that role in the shorts intermediate game. Ayuk being a disaster in Indy would be fun after all that. that would be funny. Ayuk's a tool. I don't even know if I want him on the team. Nobody in the NFL wants him on the team right now. That's why he hasn't signed with anybody. Foggy said, wait, domain stream when I have late lunch dinner? Yeah, I know. What's up, man? Thanks for hopping in. Okay, so let's check out the 7th round here. Wilson, Sutton, Wandell Parker, and Addison go here in the 7th. Obviously, I take Pierce in the early 7th, Godwin in the late 7th. Excluding Alec Pierce, who's kind of in a tier above those guys. Who do you like the most here? I think my favorite is probably between Wandell, Addison, and Parker. I like all three of those guys. I think your floor pick would be Wandell. I think your ceiling pick... Floor pick would be Wandell and Addison. Your ceiling pick would be Parker. I gravitate towards Wandell and Addison. $27 likes to go, and then we're doing another season pass giveaway. So far, the algo is totally cool with my draft. B- holding steady. Those of you who like to see the starting lineup filled out after the first 7 rounds, you got it right here. Got a lot of upside at wide receiver, a lot of low floor outcomes. Even at tight end too, honestly. Got a pretty balanced strategy so far. Locked down my running backs, locked down my top wide receivers. Got some nice upside shots in my flex. Colson Love on the tight ends. Not an elite tight end, but elite upside for sure. Dowdle goes at the turn here. Pollard, Ramondre, Pitts. Seeing some more quarterbacks go off the board. I think Caleb Williams in the 7th is a solid pick. Allen in the 4th is good value. I felt like they were using Pierce in the mid-range as well last year. They were more than they usually do. He showed that he was a lot more versatile than years past. I hope they use him more like that. As more in the intermediate, though, not necessarily the short game. Like, he's not going to get slants and screens and things like that. That'll be more probably the downs role, honestly. And Warren. It feels hard to mess up a draft from the 101. Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of the safe. I think it's the safest place to pick. I think if you want upside, you probably want 110, 111, 112. If you want just guaranteed safety in this range, you probably want to go with this because you just know who's going to be available there. You know what guys are going to be available in whatever ranges, whatever tier you're in. And you know they're just all going to be solid picks. Doesn't mean you're going to be the best. Doesn't mean you're going to make the playoffs if these guys don't hit. But all of them are just solid picks. So, Nathan, how do you plan to manage 10-plus redraft teams? I'm going to have one of my amazing community members, Sunraker, who helped me out last year. He's going to be in these leagues with me, and he's just going to do all of like the easy start-sit decisions. He's just going to make those start-sit decisions for me, and then he's going to flag me and let me know like what things I want to pay big attention to on a week-to-week basis with like waiver claims and things like that. Just helps me so I don't have to go through like every single league every single time. I'll just have somebody else help me stay on top of like my lineup. But once you draft a team, you're good. And then trades, if you need to make trades, you just kind of hyper focus in on those trades. So, did you see the Mike Evans injury? No. Did Mike Evans get injured? How injured? Big run of disgusting running backs here. Dowdle, Pollard, Dobbins, Brooks. Brooks highest upside. Dowdle, Dobbins probably the highest floors with Pollard. Those are all high floor picks. And Putter said, I have the season pass. How do I join the next draft? Are you a season pass member with code domain? That's my first question. Second one is there is a channel in the Discord called Domain Leagues, and there are always a ton of openings. So if you want to get into one of those leagues, just go to the Domain Leagues channel, and you will get more information there. If you're still struggling, you can send me a DM. Nathan, did you see Mason talk about your rankings 2 days ago? No. What's wrong with my rankings? What did he say about my rankings 2 days ago? You'll have to tell me. Drafting from 11 feels like high risk, high reward for a $25 league. I'm okay with it. Yeah. Thought he was out for training camp with a hamstring. Maybe I got one guy on Twitter. Yeah, probably. Yeah, the Evans injury is fake news. Yeah. All right, guys, if you want to get access to the season pass and access to the algorithm, which I've been using for all of my drafts and will continue to use it throughout the month of August and into September before the season, walks you through, holds your hand through every single pick, every single strategy. You could go through every single range of the draft. It's going to help you build the best team you possibly can, no matter where you're picking. You'll get full access to that if you join the season pass. Follow that link that's pinned in the comments, and I also just dropped it in there with code domain. And we will also get you in one of these leagues if you join the community. Are Dobbins and Harvey going to split? Yeah, probably. Harvey's been getting some third down talk. Sean Payton was talking about giving him third down reps, which is something we didn't necessarily see last year. So I think Dobbins has an opportunity to increase his workload this year, especially if they want to keep Dobbins healthy for the entire season. Did I say Dobbins? I meant Harvey. Harvey has a chance to increase his workload. Would it be wild to take JT at the 105 in a half PPR league? Not at all. In half PPR, JT should be a top 6 pick at least. At least. In fact, I wouldn't blame you for taking him 103, 104. Why is Jeremiah Love drafted so high? I feel like we learned from Genty pick last year. The difference between the Genty and the Bijan pick is that those guys were going solidified in the first round. Jeremiah Love's going at the 2-3 turn. So it's kind of being baked into his price that he's going to start slow and that his production floor is a little bit lower than what people expected for like Genty and Bijan, for example, who ended up producing at 14 point per game levels, which is probably lowest floor this season as well. If you're not comfortable drafting Jeremiah Love in the late second, I still honestly don't blame you. It's a bad offense. Is the season pass still discounted? Yes, $34. If you get it now, you'll still get it at that price point. Bears safety carted off the field. I did see that. Oh, man, a lot of good picks here went in this range from in the mid-late 8th. Harvey went. I would have taken him if he made it at the 8th or in the 8th or at the 8-12. Manungai, QJ, Rashad White, Pittman. Pittman's a good pick. A lot of good ones here for the range. How much do you focus on not having players on the same bye week? I'm going to let you into a little secret here. I don't even look at bye weeks. I straight up don't care, and I know other experts would agree as well. Bye weeks, everybody in your league suffers from bye weeks all the time. Stacking bye weeks is kind of something that like you can look at once you start making trades. Bye weeks matter when you're making trades in the middle of the season. For example, if you're trading away a guy that's already been through his bye week and you're trading for a guy who still has a bye week yet to come, you're taking on another bye week. But when it's a level playing field, when you're starting at the beginning of the season drafting, do not look at bye weeks. Do not care. Okay, I'm up. Who is the pick? Who is the pick? There's so many good tight end selections in this range. This is why I don't like taking tight end early. Aaron Jones, a recommended selection here. Yeah. I need to switch my rankings if I don't have them. If I don't have Mason ranked over Jones, because I just straight up prefer Mason. So I'm going to go ahead and take a Jordan Mason here. And I am also going to take... I already have way too many KCs. I need to chill out with the KCs. I will take Krosky Merritt. Krosky Merritt, according to 32 beat writers, is getting a lot of work with the ones as expected. So is Rachaad White. Rachaad White has a slight edge, reportedly, over Krosky Merritt with receiving work, which is as expected. But I'm fully expecting that to be a pretty evenly split backfield. And it's going to come down to who gets more red zone work, and we just don't know. That's a total toss-up. So I'll take my shot in the 9th round. Oh, yeah, it's disgusting. Lemon just got hurt, left practice early. Okay, that's good to know. The real question is, how's Nathan going to get Puka in the Flock League? This Trinity Champagne said, Mason said Avery was smoking something, putting Wan'Dale Robinson that high in his rankings, and he switched to your rankings, and he started laughing, saying he was going to steamroll you this year. That sounds like Mason. He's probably trying to get a clip for the next video. Yeah, the thing is, Mason has never won a playoff game, and Avery does have a championship, so that is fair. That is fair. It says I need the domain mother flocker, but I bought the season pass already for $34. If you bought the season pass, you should have access to the Discord, my friend. Frankly, I don't care about the Jackson Dart stack with Malik Neighbors. Jackson Dart's production is going to come from his rushing upside, not his passing. Wait, is this Mike Evans quad strain actually for real? Dude, holy crap. If that's actually legit, I should have... Downs at the 9-3. I think that's a pretty good pick. I like Downs. Yeah, man. If that's like actually for real, then I should have freaking taken him. They got to get rid of that substation. Yeah, how bad is the quad strain? Dude's middle name is hamstring and quad strains. Lemon hamstring going to return to training camp. Limited time, Clipman. I don't have the exact date, but it's not going to last forever. First mistake fading running backs. Bijan, those running backs are also meh. Also with Loveland, Judkins, Lemon, and Ja'Cory. Pretty young, unproven ones. Yeah. Yep. Do you really think Scat is going to be himself again? Yeah, I think so. The dude's an absolute crazy dude. He's going to be himself to a fault. Going to be terrified about him getting re-injured. Okay, let's see his training camp news. Xavier Worthy is expected to practice later this week after suffering a sprained shoulder. Cyrus Allen is also expected to return. Holy crap, the Evans injury is actually legit. Oh my gosh. Me and Sammy were talking about Evans, and my whole reason of ranking him higher was he could smash early, and we flipped to Thomas week 4. Brutal. Yeah, that is rough. Yeah, if I had known that was actually legit on my pick, I would have smashed Debo. Sorry, you should get on me for name dropping. If anything, I think CMC should rise too. Going to be getting fed again this season with all these injuries as well. Yeah. Running backs through 5 rounds. 2 running backs through 5 is not what we mean by fading running back. Yeah. You are correct. Okay. Kenny Pickett is going to start the Hall of Fame game for the Panthers. I cannot wait to watch Kenny Pickett. Get pumped. One-handed catch from BTJ today in camp. Boston's favorite wide receiver. That's another guy that's been getting a ton of hype. Boston has been getting so much talk in Cleveland training camp, more than KC. Odunze said that Kobe Bryant should be okay after suffering an injury. He was carted off, but he said he'd be okay. Drew Aller getting the annual turning heads, the turning heads label. Everybody turn your head. That's what Drew Aller is doing to the coaches right now. AJ Brown dislocated his thumb. What is going on? You guys have to be trolling me. Please be trolling me. Avery said with Burden, 1 of 2 things will happen. We'll all look back and realize that Ben Johnson literally told us this year's league winner over and over again. People who are buying coach speak at every single turn are going to learn a valuable lesson. Yes, that is how I feel. Mike Evans, quad strength. Kalon Black, adductor, not participating in practice today. Oh my gosh, dude. You've got to be kidding me. Boston clears KC. AJB's fine. He kept practicing. Okay, that's good. He kept practicing, caught 4 passes. Good. It's a weird story. Abductor injuries suck. Yeah, that sounds brutal. Yeah, Debo, pick of the night at the 9-8. This is Mike Evans news. Debo was a wide receiver 25 last year. The wide receiver 25. You're getting him in the 9th round. In a situation that's like only getting better for him because everybody's dropping dead. Imagine your hip mobility basically being completely compromised. Yeah, that sucks. I don't believe you, Buffness. I'm fading Puka and Rashee Rice this season because of their off-field antics. Luckily, their on-field antics are a lot of fantasy points. And they're both going to be on the field. I'd be more worried about off-field antics in the off-season. Yeah, dude, the early training camp injuries when nobody's even like touching each other is like, what the heck were you guys doing all off season? Were you just doing nothing? Professional athletes, for goodness sake. You step on the grass and you're like, my hip. Just lay around and do nothing for 6 straight months. I was a Jordan James guy. He got a fractured rib too. A video surfaced of Fred Warner punching the ball, and people speculated he finished through and broke James' rib on the play. That's rough. Where'd you see the Evans injury news? Underdog, Twitter, and other places as well. We're 11 likes away, guys. Drop a like, 11 likes until we get to 300, and then we're going to do another season pass giveaway for you guys. Special day. Broke 40K today. Puka has been biting women, allegedly. Yeah. Allegedly. I still don't know if I believe that picture. Are we low on Tate, or Tet because of Bryce Young limitations? I'm not low on Tate. I think he's going where he should be going, and part of it is because of Bryce Young limitations. People are just wondering when his volume is going to increase. Is it going to be this year, next year? Who knows? Will he be, a mid-wide receiver 2 again this season, or will he, break into the wide receiver 1 conversation? CMC on track to be San Fran's wide receiver 1 again. Yeah. He is. $297 likes, 3 more likes. Then we're to our giveaway time. KC falls all the way down to the 10th round. I have already taken 2 KC Concepciones. I almost took him there at the 9-1 because I like him that much as a shot. But yeah, makes it all the way to the 10-1. I think KC is a great shot to take in the later rounds. I also already have a Brown. I don't want 2 Browns on my team. Staying away from the Giants players because of Matt Nagy, is that valid? That's 100% valid. Yes. That is a valid reason to avoid the Giants. In fairness to Matt Nagy, he has had productive fantasy assets in his offenses for the last couple of years. It just hasn't been sexy, but it's been good. Good enough. For one wide receiver and 1 running back to produce. But if you want to avoid that offense, I don't blame you. Not at all. We have them ranked projected as one of the lowest offenses in the league this year. If they finish bottom 10, are they going to take a quarterback? Yeah, probably. If they finish bottom 10. They just made the playoffs, though. I don't know if they're going to be in that conversation. We'll see. It's not like I'm a big Panthers fan either. I think they have a lot of questions. In a point per first down format, how much should running backs be moved up? I mean, I'd probably push all of these running backs that went in the second round here into the first. I don't know, though. I mean, how often do wide receivers get a first down every time they get a reception? I would say of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 running backs here, you'd probably throw in 2 more. Probably throw in 2 more running backs that go in the first. Take out 2 wide receivers. You probably have 4 wide receivers go in the first because every time Puka gets a reception, it's a first down, and he gets 10 receptions a game. Your high volume wide receivers would actually benefit probably just as much from a first down as a running back would. Your lower volume ones would not. Why get KC when Boston's even cheaper? They just played 2 different roles, and I think what we suspect is that KC is going to be your short to intermediate guy. Boston is going to be your X running on the outside with big play and touchdown ability, which is great. But when you're talking about an offense that's as bad as the Browns, when Shedeur Sanders or Deshaun Watson is going to be the starter, I don't think we can consistently rely on Boston being a week in and week out flex option, whereas KC probably has that ability just because he's an easier guy to target. They made the playoffs, but realistically 3 teams in the South will pick top 15. The other will be like 20 to 21. Yeah, probably. Love waking up and seeing Nathan's hairline. Thanks, man. Thanks. Good morning. You got to be West Coast, yeah? Join a league where kickers get a point per 10 yards kicked. Where do you take Brandon Aubrey? Point per 10 yards kicked? That's like an extra point per 10 yards picked? Or kicked? So like how many points would a 60-yard field goal be? Would it be 6 points? Or would it be like 6 in addition to the 6 you're already getting for a 60-yard field goal? So like would it be 6 points or 12 points? Kittle's still recovering from last year's Achilles and doesn't know if he's going to start the season. I don't know. They've pretty much said that they're going to start the season. AJ Brown dislocated his thumb. Here's the news that came in. Yeah. Just saw that come in. Officially. Woody Marks goes ahead of me there at the 10-10. Gross range, man. I hate the 8th and 9th and 10th round and the 11th and the 12th and the 13th. Disgusting range. Boston goes ahead of me. Okay. All right. Tell me what to do, Algo. Yeah. Strongly recommending a quarterback here. Most people have taken quarterbacks. Actually, everyone except for one. Some people will take backups, I'm sure. I don't feel like I have to take a quarterback here. The question is, how badly do I want like a one of these guys? I do like me some Purdy. I think I have a share of Stafford, a share of Herbert. I think I have a share of Mahomes. Yeah, we're going to take, in our first pick, we'll take Purdy, and then we'll see what the algo says next. I think the algo is correct with the timing. I could technically double up at quarterback here, though I don't necessarily have the desire to do that. I've got a tier of wide receivers ranked here. Tucker, Shaheed, Shakir, Diggs. Diggs was just straight up productive last year. I'll be curious to see what situation he falls into. I can't stop taking Diggs when I just saw what happened to Debo after he got a really nice landing spot. So we'll take Diggs. Yeah, not big on a low upside insurance option there with Charbonnet. Just not buying it. Coming off an ACL too. Some people said Shaheed. If I were in a best ball, I would have smashed Shaheed. My first draft that I did this year was a best ball, and I took Shaheed in the 11th, and I loved it. Woody Marks, great value there after hiking nothing. Yeah, Marks isn't a bad shot to take in that range, I don't think. I mean, of the running backs that have been available here, I think I need to adjust my rankings a little bit. I need to move here. You guys can watch me do it. Okay. Where do I have Krosky Merritt ranked right now? I know I'm manipulating my rankings to manipulate my score. I have Krosky at 100 overall. That is that not in line? Exactly in line with where I drafted him? Yeah, where does... The algo probably likes me a lot more if I were to filter by my rankings, because I think Avery probably has him ranked lower. That's probably what's up. I think I need to move Tucker down a little bit too. Actually, I lied. I think I like where I have Krosky Merritt. I think I have him in the perfect spot. We good. I thought I had him ranked too low for some reason. I do not. Lied. I'm curious as why CeeDee Lamb is so low in your rankings. It's disgusting. Let's take a look. 15? I just prefer the running backs over the wide receivers. When push comes to shove and I'm drafting at the tail end here, I'm probably taking the running backs over Lamb. And it's nothing against Lamb. I really like Lamb. But I got to take one of these guys before I take Lamb. I need to move Genty down. I need to move Cook up here. I need to move Genty. Actually, Genty, I'm fine with where he's at. I need to move Chase Brown up. Chase Brown probably up here. I think he's really safe. Do I put the vets over the rookies? Probably split the difference here. I think I feel pretty good about that. Where's Lamb fit in here? Shakir and Gadsden go at the 11:03. I could put Lamb over the unproven guys. No, honestly, I like Lamb where he's at. Danny said go peek where I have him. Okay, cool. Rankings. Why am I not going to be surprised where you're going to have him? You can clip this and victory lap it later, but that is insane. You are out of your mind, dude. That is wild. He very well could. He could totally be that productive this year. He's done it before. That is just the reason I laugh is because I'm not surprised in any way. That is so classic, Danny. That is insane. Top 4 pick last 2 years is healthy finally. Why Bijan over Gibbs? I already have a share of Gibbs. I've drafted in the 101, 102 range once. I already have Gibbs, so I want a Bijan share. I literally could not be more 50-50 on the running backs. I do not care which running back you take there. I know some people feel personally insulted when Bijan is selected over Jahmyr Gibbs, and I genuinely just don't care. Both of them are going to be good this year. I don't know why it's a hot take that Bijan Robinson, who's one of the best running backs in the league, could be selected over Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't see why it's a hot take that taking Jahmyr Gibbs over Bijan Robinson is a favorite for a lot of people. I don't think either one is a hot take. Oh, Danny. Danny, you want to tell me where you're going to draft this year? Where's your favorite place to draft? Where you want to draft in the Flock League? Similar to Puka last year, top 5 insulated offense, QB to play for a superstar. I know, it's just Pickens is there. Pickens could outproduce Lamb. I don't think he will. I think Lamb will probably outproduce Pickens. But there's inherently some baked in risk there that's just not. There's no risk for anybody outproducing Chase or JSN or Puka in the same offense. People are going to act like nobody faded Lamb going into the year after he scores 20 points per game this year, but I've kept bookmarks. Yes, you have, sir. Yes, you have. You can ride that train. That is, I will fully give you credit for that take. Will I be shocked if Lamb produces at 20 point per game levels? No. Just like I wouldn't, but that's the thing. I wouldn't be shocked if anybody in the first round produced at 20 point per game levels. That's why they're all going in the first round. It's just a difference between 5 and this range at the turn. If Tua can stay conscious, Bijan will have a generational season. Yeah, he could. I mean, you got to think about that scheme too. Kevin Stefanski loves his running backs. Stefanski is going to feed the crap out of Bijan, in my humble opinion. Rome said I'll take the 1-2 or the 10-12 for sure. Yeah. He was a 14 point per game when Lamb was healthy. Chase and Higgins is the exact same thing. Yeah. Fair enough. I found a way to bring up Lamb. Oh my gosh. Does your tool support my fantasy MFL? The algo does have a manual option where you can just log every single pick. I think we have it. Do we have MFL? I don't think we have MFL, but I do think that we have we have a custom option for any sort of format. So we have ESPN, we have NFL, we have Yahoo, and then I think we have CBS. Is Parker Washington Glaze getting out of hand? It might be. I'm actually quite happy the site consensus is Lamb later. No need for me to try and convince the fellows I can just scoop value. Yeah. Yeah, you very likely will be able to. Unless you can't help yourself and you end up drafting at the 105 and then you have to take him there. Which would be very fun. Would you be shocked if Lamb only puts up 16 points per game? I would not be shocked out of my mind. I would be very disappointed. Yeah, Sleeper's the only live linked. Every other platform is supported. You just have to log the picks. So any non-Sleeper one is going to have to be logged, but we factor in like the ADP and stuff like that. Thanks, Avery. I forget which ones we've added in. So, wondering, do you keep Pollard or Kittle? Depends on what price you keep them at. Lamb and JJ are so easy to buy in Dynasty this year. It's so easy to contend if you're already good at running back. Yeah. 105, 106, definitely my least favorite this year, but have seen that others are higher on those slots. I have seen that as well. I think I just saw that Mason really likes the 106. Which is actually kind of hilarious because that's like right around where he drafted last year. Actually, that's exactly where he drafted last year. So he probably likes it just because he's like, well, last year I got the first round bye. Drafting at the 106. Therefore, it's a great pick this year. Yes, we did get 300 likes. You guys are the best. We're going to do another giveaway. Appreciate you guys a ton. Subscribe if you haven't already. We broke 40K subs on this stream, which is huge and awesome and stuff. So we are going to do another giveaway. This time, in honor of Danny always being on our streams, we're going to do Lamb69 as the keyword. Lamb69 in the chat. No caps, no spaces. Lamb69. You got a free season pass giveaway. If you just drop that in the chat, you will be in the drawing for the free season pass giveaway. I wouldn't have personally been competing. Okay, I got you. Answering somebody else's question. Oh, stream at 6 p.m. UK. I usually watch these back the following day. Hey, we might honestly. You guys have really turned up for the noon Eastern stream. So we will probably we'll probably do more of these. With how much of you guys have been in the stream today and been super active. So we really appreciate you guys tuning in. It's been a fun one. It's been a fun draft. Draft paused. Back to Mitch. Wait, why'd the draft get paused? Oh, we're back. Okay, cool. I was like, what happened? We're in the last parts of the rounds here. I don't think many of the picks from here on out are going to impact what you guys think about the teams that have drafted so far. But of the teams that have drafted all the way through, I want to hear, while you guys are dropping Lamb69 in the chat, who you think has had the best draft so far. I've got a couple ideas on some of my favorite drafts, but I want to know what you guys think. Before I give away what my opinion is. Is Avery still sleeping in? No, he is not. Avery has actually been making comments in the stream on his account and the domain account to help me out. So Avery has been in here. Is there any guide that factors in roster limits? Yes. So the algo, again, if you sign up for the season pass using code domain, you'll get access to the algorithm. You can go to the edit draft settings, and what it does is it factors in roster limits, and the rankings our rankings adjust based on what league settings you actually have for whatever team you're drafting. So if you have like a bench, if you have like 2 bench, 3 bench, 4 bench, 5 bench, that does impact some of the draft picks that you make, and we do factor that in. So you can change that and adjust that with the league settings section. Apparently Ben Johnson said he would run the offense through Amon-Ra in 2022. Yeah, I believe that. Have you updated Debo? Yes, I have. I will show you now that Debo has gone where he's gone. I'll show you where I have him ranked. So I toyed with this morning. I moved Debo up to 98th overall, which puts him firmly in the 9th round. And I feel pretty good about that ranking, considering the other wide receivers that are going in this range. Myers, Downs, Dobbs, Trey Tucker. Some of these, you're starting to look at backup running backs like Corum and Monungai. You've got some higher upside options like Parker and QJ, who I would totally understand taking over Debo. So for now, I have Debo ranked just below those guys. But if Mike Evans is expected to be out for a significant amount of time, then I could see moving him up even like a half round further. But I feel pretty good about Debo in this range. It actually ended up being very fitting that I have him back-to-back with Kittle, because that's kind of how I feel about both of those guys. The giveaway is going on right now. Put Lamb69 in the chat, and you'll be eligible for the for being in the drawing for the season pass giveaway. You guys are the best. Thanks, man. Can the algo work for keeper leagues with players getting kept with round price? Yes. So somebody asked us about that last week, and we just got that implemented. So we do factor in keepers. What you can basically do is just go ahead and enter in the guys that are not in the draft pool, that are being kept on your rosters. So you do have that option. Again, guys, if you want access to the algorithm, follow this link, sign up for the season pass using code domain, and you will get to use that for every one of your drafts. And if you reach out to us or go to the Domain Leagues channel, we will find a way to get you into one of these leagues. We're doing a ton of these all month. Niners substation is striking early this year. Yeah, they are. The substation is killing the Niners. Niners going to suck this year. I refuse to draft Myers. I feel like he's a good guy that will never be good enough to start or cut. Yeah, the thing is, Myers for the last 3 years has been like really, really startable, really flexible. He had a nice run when he joined Jacksonville last year after he got traded. And then, you can take or leave the years before that in a totally different situation. It's a crowded offense this year. They paid him. I don't think he's a super high upside pick, but I don't know how many high upside picks there are in the range that Myers is going. So you just go with the guy that you can flex when you need to, who's safe. Sure. It's making me think Shanny might just be a jerk who's going 100%, 110% his practices. That's hilarious. Maybe. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Debo? Where's a good spot to get him? If you rewind, I literally just showed where I rank him. I have him like 98th overall. That's where I have him ranked right now. I moved him up quite a bit before the Mike Evans news. William, they are for community members only. So if you join with the season pass, if you end up becoming a season passer with code domain, then we'll make sure we get you in a league. You took Evans and Pearsall rip. 49ers just showed the injuries through 5 practices. Myers has been startable for like 5 years. Yeah, I know he's been startable. It's crazy. Which is why I think he's a pretty good selection. So I'm up next. I will probably double up on a quarterback here in this range. I think I may as well. Some people have, some people haven't. Yeah, I'll take a rushing upside QB with Kyler in the 12th because I like him. And then let's take a running back. In the 13th round, I can't stop doing this because it's in the 13th round and it doesn't matter. A lot of these guys are going to be waiver level anyways. But Kellen Moore was literally just talking about Alvin Kamara and ETN splitting first team reps and splitting a lot of snaps. And if Kamara continues to get his receiving work, he could be a decent flex option. He's obviously not going to be as productive as he has been in years past, but if he can get back up to like 60, 70, 80 targets, you're talking about a guy that could be, you know, he could have some 16-point games here and there and be a flex option. So Snipes Jordan on Kamara. Rip. Lamb 69. We got about 5 minutes before we do that drawing, so drop that in the chat if you haven't already. Sounds like I need to make a rankings adjustment here because I was just talking about how I prefer Jordan Mason over Aaron Jones. And according to my sources, I have Aaron Jones ranked over Jordan Mason. So let's do that. Let's fix that. Aaron Jones at 92, Jordan Mason at 106. Yeah. Aaron Jones needs to come down. I definitely do not prefer Aaron Jones in the same conversation as Pollard, Gainwell, Rico, Ramondre, Brooks. Probably right there over Blake Corum. Honestly, maybe even below. And then I'll take Mason up here. Oh, this is a disgusting range. I need to move Gainwell down a little bit. Probably down in the cross-Gamera conversation. Rashad White. Aaron Jones. Corum. Boom. Right here. That's where he belongs. Okay. Adjustments have been made. Accurately reflected running back rankings. Ka-chow. There we go. It is 1 p.m. I'm fully awake and have been for many hours. See, that's what I told him. That's what I told him. People are accusing you of being asleep. Apparently the Kincaid injury was a shot in the nuts. I saw that. That's rough, dude. That is brutal. America won hockey, so no, Danny Canada is not better. That is very true. It is awkward. Were you the one that accused him of being asleep? I was just saying that he's been here on the stream the whole time. Big run of running backs here. People are taking their insurance options. Algier, Charbonnet, B-Rob, Braylon, Emmett Johnson, Tank Bigsby. Goff goes as a second QB here at the 13-3. You know, all in all, I feel pretty decent about my roster. It's an upside roster. I could end up having a horrible team with all the upside shots I took. Which, again, I knew what I was getting into when I took those players. So, got to shake things up. Got to pick different players. I can't pick the same players every single draft. I'm confident in my takes, but I'm not going to be taking the same exact players every single time. Got to diversify. Avery's going to draft on Wednesday. I'm in a small 8-man league with an 8th pick. Would it be justified to take Amon-Ra and then Hampton at the 1st and 2nd round? In an 8-man league, I'd probably take as many running backs as you can. I would definitely take 2 running backs there if I were you. Avery's preparing the cake for Nathan's birthday. Yeah, my birthday's a long ways away. That's going to be a really stale cake. Stale? Rotten? Gross? Moldy? Moldy cake. Is it just me, or does Sammy's stack sound like Gabe from The Office? Yeah, we're getting there, Jack. We got like 2 more minutes. We got like a minute or 2. Last chance to draw or to put Lamb69 in the chat for the giveaway. Put Lamb69 in the YouTube chat for the season pass giveaway. Last chance. Final countdown. Concepcion on the 10th is my favorite sleeper. I agree. Avery, I almost took him at the 901, and he went all the way to the 1001. I don't know if it's because of the Boston hype that he's going even further and further down the board, but I almost took him again. That would have been my 3rd Concepcion share. I already have KC like in 2 of my 4 leagues that I've drafted, so I'm going to have a lot of KC this year. Dry. Okay, cool. Thank you. Oh, people getting in at the buzzer for Lamb69. Confident this season. Need to adapt to Sammy's grit in case I get the injury bug. No, not Nathan for the 3rd year. I am the injury bug. Fear me. Travis Hunter, most talented wide receiver on the Jags. I don't even think that's a hot take. Where did Hunter go in this draft? I probably need to take a Hunter at some point. In the 10th, yeah, I probably need to take a Travis Hunter in the 9th or 10th round at some point. That's a nice little shot to take. I think Mason is going to get the injury bug this year. That's my hot take. Mason has somehow evaded the injury bug for the last 2 years. It's unbelievable. It's only a matter of time, right? Water's got to find its level. I don't know how to read ACL injuries. Yeah, you can't really. You kind of have to read what they're saying and what their rehab is, how the rehab is going. So, for example, Tucker Kraft off the PUP list, full go, ready to go. Malik Neighbors doing a lot more than we expected. He had a really, really rough offseason of recovery. Coming off of his surgery, not only did he tear his ACL, he also tore his meniscus, so you have to be a little more cautious. How long ago was the ACL tear? Did they tear their ACL as a running back? Did they tear their ACL as a receiver? Did they tear it as a quarterback? If a quarterback tore his ACL, you don't really care as much because they're not running routes. They don't have to cut in the open field to get extra yardage. They're just sitting back in the pocket throwing the ball. So their recovery time is not near as extensive as it's going to be for a wide receiver or running back. You know, it just depends. So, all right. Second season pass winner of the night. And the winner is PLX for us. Say hey in the chat, man. You just won the season pass giveaway. Calling out PLX for us. You are the man. The winner. What's up, dude? Congrats. Let me get you the link to the Discord. I will have you send me a DM or probably submit a ticket. Follow that link. And we will make sure we get that season pass for you for free. Congrats. Do you ever factor in strength of schedule for ADP? I want to draft Love, but the Cardinals have the hardest schedule in the league. That with the split workload is making me question his production. I factor in offensive strength more than I factor in strength of schedule, if we're being honest. If the offense is good, they're going to produce. If the offense is bad, they're not. I think on a week-to-week basis, matchups matter a little bit more, but we just so much of it is projection heading into the season that what you expect to be the best offenses and the worst offenses in the league can literally flip upside down outside of like the guaranteed ones. So I don't look at schedule heading into the season. If that kind of answers your question. Nathan, are you scared about Zufa in the Flock League? Why would I be scared about Zufa in the Flock League? Yeah. Hey, PLX, let me know what your Flock username is, actually, and I'll just write it down. That's probably going to be the easiest way. Once you let me know what your Flock username is, we'll get that for you. I'm up here in a couple of picks. I would say probably my favorite teams have been KVN, because he goes double running back and then he cleans up at wide receiver here. And still gets a rushing QB. And then Pete Key gets Cook, Hampton, Scatterboo. A little shakier at wide receiver, but actually not too bad. Really don't mind this start at all either. Jefferson, Chase Brown, Ladd, Etienne, Harrison, Rome. All right, I'm up. What do I want to do here? Golly. I don't want to keep taking James Conner. It's disgusting. The 15th round. Jeez. These guys are all going to be cut. They're all going to be cut. This is gross. Who's ranked highest in my rankings? I legitimately would almost roster a third quarterback just to see which one works. I guess I'll take a tight end. This is disgusting. Fine, I'll take Brenton Strange as a backup tight end. Ew. This is why we don't go 15 rounds super often. Holy crap, this is gross. Should I take another shot on a wide receiver? Jeremy. Disgusting. Hey, how about I take, has Likely gone? Likely already went. Ew. Gross. Any of you guys have any recommendations here? I hate this. This is horrible. Jeremy, Mooney. Oh, I'll take my beloved Surratt. That's what we'll do. Just for fun. Take my beloved Surratt. Why not? Yeah, Branch is getting a lot of training camp hype. A lot of camp hype. Some people said Daniel Jones, Pat Bryant, A.D. Mitchell. Why is Saquon not being seen as a top 10 pick in the rankings? I would 100% take him over James Cook. If you want to do that, that's fine. I'm not going to die on that hill. By the time you get to the 9th overall pick versus the 16th overall pick, you're talking about a tier. I literally don't care who you rank over the other. If you want to take him in the late first round, that's fine. Honestly. I think he's in a position to be pretty productive this year. Yeah, PLX for us. If you're still in here, you can just let me know what your Flock username is. If not, then just toggle over to the Discord and I'll find you. We are... Any more news coming out? Quad strain. Oh, dude. Avery, did you see this? Mikhail Kamara tore his ACL. Our boy. Our Hoosier. Our beautiful Hoosier boy. Is done before it even began. I'm like very, very sad. I was hoping he could get some opportunities as a rookie. Alas, it did not happen. Tyreek Hill apparently has no explosion in his knee. That's what he said. His knee exploded. He is out of explosives in his knee. I don't even know if he'll play this year. Nathan, would you take Judkins in the 4th? I don't know. I don't like a lot of the running backs going in the 4th. I hate that range. I'd rather take him in the 5th. Take a wide receiver in the 4th. There are so many good wide receiver picks in the 4th. Kamara's my friend's older brother. That's pretty sick. Dude heavily contributed to us winning a national championship. He blocked that punt. We were at that game and it was amazing. Did you ever end up finding your package? Dude, no! I'm still trying to figure it out. I've been told multiple things by multiple different people. And no, I'm starting to lose hope. I should get a refund though, because it wasn't my fault. Do you honestly think Zufa will make the playoffs first year in? Yeah, only year in. I mean, I don't know how he plays fantasy football. Like, I have zero grounds to say one way or the other. I don't know. I have no idea. So, I think that I'll make the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys think that's a hotter take than Zufa making the playoffs. Since, I've been terrible the last 2 years. But that was a fun draft. It was a fun stream. Thank you guys for tuning in for 40K today. You guys are the best. Super sick community. Rum said, who are the 6 playoff teams if you had to guess now? Okay. Me. Rum, you seem like a sharp guy. I think you're going to find a way in. I think Avery will make it in. I think Danny will make it in. I don't think Bush will make it in. I would go Sal. And then Zach. I don't think Mason's going to three-peat. I don't think Bush is going to make it in. I am literally just pulling. I am pulling these guesses out of my butt, other than myself, of course, obviously. But those are my picks. I think Sal will probably make the playoffs. I just don't think he'll repeat championship this year. We shall see. Honestly, I think this year more than any other year really could determine wherever people are drafting, the location of where they're drafting could end up determining who makes the playoffs and who doesn't. That is very possible. But also, you never know. I mean, where we expect some of these teardrops to be might not be where they're actually at, because some people will probably reach on players that they really like. It's always chaos in the Flock League draft. Always chaos. But stay tuned. We are drafting in like a week and a half, so the video should be coming out in like the next 2 to 2.5 weeks. And draft order before that, obviously. So we're going to be in Austin like next Tuesday. But thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Or it's not tonight, today. Go eat lunch if you haven't eaten lunch already. Go eat dinner if you live in a different country. Go to bed if you live in a different country. But yeah, this was fun. We'll probably do some more midday streams since so many of you guys tuned in. But hope you all have a good one. Get ready to watch me win the Flock League, because it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure I'll take Judkins in the 5th or the 4th. We'll see. But happy Monday, everybody. We will see you again with another stream tomorrow. Adios.